Ladies and gents, welcome back. The inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act is, well underway. And, we've been trying to pay attention to it as much as possible. I know a lot of you want to tune in and can't watch the whole streams, but a lot of you are looking to tune into long streams. I don't do these long streams, so I brought on someone that is. And, that's my friend Ro from the Warcampaign. How are we, my man?
Very well, thank you, Clyde. I'm a big fan of your channel, and also I'm proud to call you a friend, someone who also is a family man, somebody who cares about our country, where we're going, where we are, and where we need to get to.
Well, and that's why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm pointing people in your direction, because I feel very much the same about you and your motivations in this. Now, you have been streaming this for weeks now, and let's just give a little tease to the channel here. Warcampaign, get over there, subscribe to the channel, get on there, daily notifications all day long. Look at the length of these streams, 10 hours, 28 minutes every day, starting at the very beginning of it and going on throughout. And here's just a little taste of how the layout is on the channel. But what motivated you to get into this and be one of the people to actually bring this to people's attention and devote 10 hours of your day and then come on to my show and talk about it? What's motivated you to go through this and put yourself through this?
Yes, sir. Well, Clyde, like yourself, like I alluded to earlier, we're both family men. Myself, I have 5 children. You have 2 wonderful, beautiful children. We've spoken about this off air, and we want a country that we can be proud of, one where we are confident that our children will grow up in freedom. They shouldn't have to think about the stuff that we're thinking about. They shouldn't have to read or be cognizant of the depths to which our government has fallen to. The Emergency Act replacing the War Measures Act, to me, is a phenomenal use of effectively martial law, the ability to institute criminal law at will without any oversight from the House of Commons or the Senate, as you yourself have noted before.
Mm-hmm. And your coverage has been pretty in depth. I've noticed you picking up all kinds of things. One in particular was today. So I've been listening to Ro's stream in my ear while I'm pulling wrenches at work all day. And while he's actually like reviewing this, I noticed you like to pull up the documents and then actually review them and look over them, highlight them, so people get a good view of what the documents that are being pulled up, because there's so much more in these documents than what they want to talk about. There's other lines that maybe people find interesting, but I think this was really interesting. This was a clip that you found, and you remembered a subsequent clip that you had recorded some time before. And just walk me through this before I play the clip. What drew this to you, or what drew you to this?
Absolutely, sir. We got Thomas Carrick, who is the OPP Ontario Provincial Police Commissioner, which he looks to be caught in a contradiction of what he has attested in March, actually. So this is today, October 27th, 2022, and he looks to be contradicting his previous testimony to the House of Commons in a committee meeting. And you yourself, Clyde, have found other information about Thomas Carrick, where he used the word potential, as you noted earlier. And this is the thing here. It's that we need many hands and many people, the people from the chat, the people in the comment section, the people who are watching, to observe and to inform us, even the people who are blessed to have a platform and to be able to bring this information to you. But we need you to inform us, because we can't catch everything.
That's it. Let's have a look at this clip.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief Bell. Through you, Mr. Chair, we did identify it as a threat to national security through the Provincial Operational Intelligence Bureau on or about the 7th of February.
Okay, and I think the superintendent's evidence was that there were no threats that materialized, and it said there were no credible threats to national security. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. And that's a very important part and piece, is that when you move from strategic intelligence into operational and tactical intelligence and establishing thresholds for mandates and thresholds for charges, that further analysis needs to be done to determine whether it's credible and whether that threat actually came to fruition.
Okay. But I take it you're aware that once the February 7th Hendon report was published using the phrase potential threat to national security, CSIS and INSET contacted Superintendent Morris and were concerned with the use of that phrasing and that language in the Hendon reports.
I'm not aware of who contacted who, but I certainly was assured that those conversations took place. And I think Superintendent Morris did a very eloquent job of explaining the intention of the Hendon reports. He is the foremost subject matter expert in this province as it relates to intelligence. And I would have hoped that he would have described to the Commission that those reports were for strategic purposes, for decision-making and planning. And those references to possible threats to national security, I would suggest to any police leader, ought to be taken extremely seriously.
So he went on to say further to that Thomas Creek, Ontario Provincial Police Commissioner, claims that the phrase potential threat used in a formal report, which was the Hendon report, he said that the word potential is immaterial. He went on to say that later in his testimony. Why they bothered to use that word at all is evidently just as a decoration for the next word is beyond me at this point. But here are the words of the actual OPP intelligence officer, Morris, as he was talking about that.
Here, right at the outset. So first, coming across Canada, and I'm going to speak bluntly, but I have to say that I'm trying to be blunt, but I don't have all the facts in relation to this. There was almost no reported criminal activity of any of this activity coming across Canada. There was a motor vehicle collision on the day before the event, and that had to do with somebody running into somebody who was in the Freedom Convoy. So it was conspicuous for the absolute lack of criminal activity.
So I could tell you're a tired man, Ro, because you've been doing 10 hours a day, 10 hours plus a day of this. But one thing I'm really intrigued by is because you're spending so much time on this, you have your whole chat with you, like an army of 1,000 people chatting with you, telling you, hey, check that out, look at this. Oh, he contradicted himself there. Yeah. How do we get more people in there? We got to get more people in and watching your chat there. But one thing I wanted to touch base on is you caught a in testimony. It was actually the cross-examining lawyer, I believe, for the government of Canada, and you caught them mentioning intelligence, but it was from a different intelligence. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Right. Are you referring to what we were talking about earlier, the ISD?
Yeah, that's right. So
You
you pulled this up,
right.
And this is this you actually drew to my attention, and then I rolled with it, and I ended up finding more other stuff. But what did you find on it so far?
Well, the government and the commission itself, headed by Justice Rouleau, who is a lifelong Liberal donor, as evidenced by Andrew Layton's True North. He has got an article about that on his website. They have been funding what I consider to be partisan sources. For example, Frank Graves, put out by Blacklocks Reporter, fantastic journalistic outfit in Ottawa. One of the few real journalists left today, that organization, Blacklocks Reporter, right? And they put out this article today highlighting how Frank Graves himself is a partisan researcher who's paid multiple of thousands of dollars to put together reports, who he himself is very partisan against the Freedom Convoy, and has termed it with heinous terms such as comparing the people who were there as terrorists. And I don't want to get into all that, but the point is that the ISD, which is what you've been investigating, thank you,
Yeah.
That's what I want to say about the chat, right? I mean, really, before we get into it, I just want to say the key thing here is that when you are there with us, watching these videos with us, we can't catch everything, right? I mean, Clyde, you know, you've got your own fine fellows who are helping you to notice things, and that's really what we're trying to
I can't
achieve
do this
here.
on my own. No way. No way.
We like to say honor, accountability, integrity, and loyalty, core virtues that we want to see instituted again in the world today. And we say hail, right? No matter what that sounds like to other people, we don't care. We've been doing this for years. We have a focus. We're fixated on these virtues, bringing honor, accountability, integrity, loyalty into our world. Old virtues that have now been thrown away in the garbage, and they're considered anachronistic. You yourself, ISD, please walk us through it if you'd be so kind.
Okay, so what I found on ISD myself was, and the people working on it with me, was this. It's basically, if you've heard of the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's another one of these groups, and it's a bit of a front type group. It's established, and you can take Wikipedia for a grain of salt here. We're digging into it, and we're actually looking at the corporations where they were founded, who they were founded by. We're trying to dig deeper and find out what they're actually associated with. Well, it was funded back in 2006 by a bunch of people specialized in research, policy, technologies, response to extremism and disinformation worldwide, headquartered in London, UK, and is registered as a charity, of course. You know, that's another shield. But what we found is essentially, yeah, it's a front group where essentially it gives excuses to reporters to smear people. So a reporter can say, oh, this person was deemed, or this group was deemed as right-wing extremist, or whatever buzzword of the day, and then they can label this thing on them. And then if that individual goes to sue the journalist or news agency for it, they'll say, well, it wasn't us, we're just reporting on what was said by this other place. And then it's a shield, right? And then if you go to sue the other place, well, it's a charitable foundation, you got to go after the person who wrote that article. This is how they're set up. Now you dig a little further and you find that they're associated with this group, Strong Cities Network, and it reads a lot like the World Economic Forum. By 2050, 68% of the world's population will live in urban areas. Rapid urbanization has made cities vulnerable. That's a word? Sorry. Has made cities vulnerable to new rising threats from political violence, terror attacks, and increase in hate crime and online disinformation. Today's challenges are both global and priorities are local realities. Now, disinformation is just a word for information we don't like, because we have different ideas for what we want to happen in the world. So they've been working on this for a long time. They're about Strong Cities Network, and they want to make changes. What we do from de-radicalization programming to youth engagement strategies. We ensure local responses address local needs. So this is the outward front of this one. It's like the more corporate mumbo jumbo side of it, but the more militant wing of it would be this ISD. So they're putting these things together, and this is the onion we're unraveling. We're peeling it back layer by layer, and we're finding out what's actually happening as this inquiry is going by. And this is why I really appreciate what you're doing, Ro. I have you in my ear while I'm pulling wrenches, and I get these little tidbits of information, and I'm like, I can run with that. I'm going to check that out. Let's find out what happens, and then we're sharing this information amongst many people. But without taking this video too long, Ro, tell us where we can get in touch with your live streams, where people can find you and get them over there.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Clyde, and a big hail, as we say at the War Campaign, to you, sir, because you've been doing a great job at getting the word out to so many people. And there's so many people on different platforms, and really more than social media and the rest, it's about the individuals out there It's about you out there. It's about our people on the ground who want freedom. I want my wife to be able to walk into an Ottawa hospital and me to be able to visit her over there without worrying about any paperwork. I don't have any passports or anything like that. And I want to be able to go there. And that's the reason I'm into it. Otherwise, I'd be working today instead of taking the time off to do this, freedom inquiry. Well, in this case, Freedom Convoy inquiry, Public Order Emergency Commission inquiry, looking to the use of the Emergency Act. And Clyde, thank you, sir, for actually using the information that we dig up, the chat, the people who are there, join us there, help us to dig up information. And Clyde, put out that information if you be so kind, brother.
Yeah. Warcampaign right here. This is where you can check it out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. It lets you know when he goes live or releases a new video. And get in there. He's on there 10 hours a day. From what time to what time?
We start at 9 a.m. Eastern. They start at 9:30. We do a little bit of preview. Tomorrow is Peter Slowly. So that's today. Clyde will be airing this in the morning.
That's right.
I'm having a drink right now. It is 9:59 p.m. Eastern. And we've done a full day of streaming. Thank you, Clyde, for hosting us. Tomorrow, so that's today for you, Peter Slowly, the ex-chief of the Ottawa Police, who is being thrown under the bus. They're calling him a passionate black man. They want to talk about diversity, except for when it doesn't suit them, and then they'll use that person as a scapegoat. It'll be a very interesting day. Be sure to check us out. And Clyde, thank you so much for the work that you're doing, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you for what you're doing. And all you guys, right after you leave a comment in the comment section down below, get the link. It's in the description. Head over. As soon as you're done watching this in the morning, he should be live streaming, and you can go check that out. So hit that link in the description and go check it out. Keep on trucking.